on, get in the ball. Get in the ball. Yes! Now I can finally evolve you. Oh, hi! I did not see you there! I am so sorry about that. I was just in the middle of playing Pokemon Go. I hope you can see it, but with the lighting of this room and the lighting of the laptop, it kind of looks gross. So, speaking of Pokemon, did you know that Sun and Moon are releasing in a couple of months? I know, I'm excited too. So when I thought of doing videos, I thought, what getting to know you could I do that relates to the new games? Well, naming my top 13 favorite Pokemon could suffice. So, with this Pokemon list, I promise it'll be plenty shorter than my Disney movies, because there's probably not much explanation to go as to why these are my favorite Pokemon. Because maybe they're cute, or maybe they're really strong and they helped me with my Pokemon games. Or maybe I just love them from the show. Yes, I was a huge fan of the show. Ash Ketchum is still bae. So, anyway, how about we let us get started on my top 13 favorite Pokemon of all time. And this does not include the latest Alola Pokemon yet, because since I've never played the games, or because they're not out yet, I couldn't make a valid explanation as to why. So, let's have it! Hitmonchan. So we basically have a Pokemon who, in its name in 4 separate languages, it's basically named after one of the most famous, or 4 of the most famous boxers in each country. That is pretty cool. I mean, if you've seen Hitmonchan's design, you knew Pokemon was working hard to help resemble what the Pokemon's supposed to resemble. But then I want you to look at Hitmonchan's counterpart for a second. I want you to look at it and ask yourself, why? Just why? It's basically a ghost. A Pac-Man ghost with legs and no mouth. I'd go with the other one, thank you very much. Suicune. So it's the Johto League, and you'll have to decide between 3 very awesome legendaries. First, you have a fire type that almost looks exactly like Mufasa. Then you have an electric type, which it has the face of Zeus, but it also looks like a tiger. But then you get this suave-looking creature, which is an ice type. It's a water type, you idiot. And resembles nothing at all. It looks pretty much original. Actually, now that I think about it, it kind of has the face of a dog, but Suicune has always been my favorite because I always wanted a Pokemon that was sleek and creative. And Pokemon did give that to us with this awesome Pokemon right here. Besides, I would love to ride on that one's back than the little girl on Entei in the 3rd Pokemon movie. Jirachi. It's a Pokemon with a star-shaped head that grants wishes. It's Genie of the Pokemon universe. How do you not? Oh yeah, and by the way, the Jirachi movie is one of the only Pokemon films that did make me cry. So, if Jirachi wasn't on the list, I'd probably hate myself. Diancie. For the longest time, we had Pokemon shaped like rocks. Now, we have a Pokemon made out of crystals. Finally, for the love of God, we get something that's made out of gemstones. Finally, at last, at last. Let's Leo. Am I the only one who's starting to see Disney references in Pokemon episodes? But seriously, if you want to know the real reason why, just look at this. Look at this. If this is not adorable, I don't know what is anymore. Slowbro. I know what all of you are thinking with the cocked eyebrows and everything, because out of all Pokemon I could have chose for this list, why Slowbro? Okay, I have it's quite a story, so bear with me here. It all started when I was in elementary school, like about first, second grade when I first started collecting Pokemon cards, and I used to go to this place in comparison to the other kids where on a shelf they had a selection of Pokemon cards, and if you did the activities that were supposed to be done for the week, you are allowed to have one Pokemon card. So, out of all my years or months of looking through the book, I finally see a very shiny Slowbro Pokemon card. And I thought it was the coolest thing on the face of the planet. So I waited an entire week just to get that Pokemon card, and I made sure no one else got that Pokemon card. So, what is the fascination with Slowbro again? I just think the design was pretty creative, and also we get introduced to an alternate Shelter. Yeah, you didn't think that Shelters look like that, don't you? You think they're super cute and cuddly like this. But, I don't know, I also have a fascination with things pink. So, I guess that stuck with me until now. And if chance comes that I get a Slowbro on my team, I'd want it in a heartbeat. So, no judgment here. Espeon, Glaceon, and Sylveon. Okay, this was just a case of I could not choose. But when you're looking at the evolutions, how could you choose? I'm only lucky I stuck with three. I know how to count. So let's start with Espeon. So my first Pokemon game on the GameCube console, or like on the bigger consoles anyway, was Pokemon Colosseum. And when you're playing Pokemon Colosseum, you have two starter Pokemon, which are two of the newest evolutions. Well, new from the Johto region anyway. They are Espeon and Umbreon. For some odd reason, I guess it was the color of the Espeon that I found interesting, or the mystique of the Espeon that I found interesting, because when the Pokemon Center store was in New York City, I wanted that Espeon plushie so bad. And I still have it, actually. It's back home in my stuffed animal collection somewhere. But I have a question in mind. How come Espeon ends up evolving faster and becoming more powerful than Umbreon does? That makes it counterproductive, doesn't it? But anyway. So when Glaceon appeared in the Sinnoh region line of evolutions along with Leafeon, I thought this was the perfect Pokemon for me because it was decked in like ice accessories. It was gorgeous. It was the Elsa that I didn't know it was going to exist yet. Like, I wanted that Pokemon on my team as soon as I was playing Diamond and Pearl. I wanted it so bad. But then we come to Sylveon. Why Sylveon is on the list is because I found cosplays on the internet, And they look so awesome. And I want to cosplay as a Sylveon. It'll be a human Sylveon, but it'd still be awesome. Plus, Sylveon was one of the first fairy types to come out for X and Y. So, why not to have one of the first fairy types be a part of the evolutions? That's the great way to be introduced. Besides, now that I think about it, if it's covered in like pink and pastel colors, how come hasn't been called the cosplay Eevee yet? It looks like an evolution that you'd find at a county fair. It's so adorable. But anyways, those are my top 3, and you might see pairings later on down the line because of my indecisive manner, or because they're all part of the same family anyway, that they deserve to be grouped together like this. So, let's move on, shall we? The Togepi fam. I think this is one of the only times in Pokemon history where you'll ever see an adorable little Pokemon just get more adorable as each evolution happens. I mean, ever since Misty had her Togepi from Kanto region of Pokemon Season 1, I've been super in love with it. And then I found out later that ever since the Johto League happened, it had an evolution. I was like, yes, this has to happen. But then you get to the Sinnoh League, the Sinnoh region. And then we find out there's another evolution for the Togepi family, Togekiss. And I'm just like, oh my god. Like, I was about to have an overload, basically. I mean, I know the common, like, times you can evolve a Pokemon, at least I'm concerned right now, is 2. Because, I mean, there is always that fork under some circumstances that a Pokemon could evolve lastly one way or another. Usually it's about 3 times you can evolve a Pokemon, but if there's a 4th time a Pokemon can evolve, or a 3rd time a Pokemon can evolve, I hope it's with another Togepi. Or at least it's from Togekiss to another one. Because Togepi just needs to get stronger here. I mean, I know it's already overpowered in the Pokemon series, but I mean, the TV series, but this just needs to happen, okay? It just needs to happen. Mew. So, of course, the cuteness factor for the 151st Pokemon does play a part here, but then here's the reason why. It's basically like Aladdin from the Magi series. He's pretty OP, but he does not act like it. Mew is basically the god of all Pokemon, except like an example scene from the Lucario movie. He acts like a kid. He acts like an excited 5-year-old kid when a guest comes to visit the house. I mean, if you remember the Lucario movie, he literally kidnapped Pikachu and Meowth so they could play with his toys inside the Tree of Life. No comments. Just no other comments. Oshawott. Who does not have a thing for otters? You're looking at the person who freaked out in Finding Dory because of the cuddle party scene towards the end of the film. But then you get this cute little thing called Oshawott that has a shell on his chest that he uses as a weapon. Oh my god! I know I said if that's not adorable, I don't know what it is about Litleo, but you have an otter who uses a seashell from his chest as a weapon. How is that not the best Pokemon ever? Well, I do have more favorites, so I shouldn't really be saying that, so moving on. Torchic! So, Pokemon Ruby was my first Pokemon game ever, since when I think I was like 8 or 9 years old, that's when the Game Boy Advance came out. So, of course, that's when the Hoenn region was finally coming into play, and so, of course, Torchic was my first Pokemon I've ever had. Because of this, I couldn't really diss Torchic or put it any lower on the list. Besides, when you think about it, Torchic becomes pretty powerful, especially when it comes to Gen 3. Though Combuskin and Blaziken are not exactly adorable, or their appearance does not exactly appeal to me, it is my Torchic has become very powerful, and it has done me justice throughout the Hoenn region games, which is why I got Omega Sapphire. No, it's Alpha Sapphire. My bad. I meant to say Alpha Sapphire. I don't know why I said Omega Sapphire, even though it's Omega Ruby, but I had a little brain fart there. So, though it's not exactly my favorite Pokemon of all time, I do have to compliment Torchic in some way or another, and putting it third place is the best I can do. The Chansey fam. And of course, we have to give a shout out to the Pokemon family that has been more than glad to assist you at every Pokemon Center when your Pokemon have fainted from battle. I mean, you can see why they were meant to be Nurse Joy's Pokemon. They're just so adorable. They're like that adorable grandmother that's always there to take care of you. And I will actually say this now, my favorite Pokemon of all time used to be, a long, long time ago, Blissey, because I just liked a Chansey that had some sort of feathers and wings on her. And then Happiny showed up, of course, the baby Chansey, and you just understand that if a Chansey hatches from an egg in its adult form, I guess it's kind of weird. So I thank Pokemon for creating a Happiny. So like I said, Blissey used to be my favorite, but before we get to my favorite or favorites, here are a few honorable mentions for you. Riolu and Lucario. These two have to be a part of my favorite Pokemon set of all time. Well, you can probably guess that Lucario was my first favorite due to the Pokemon movie that released in the Hoenn region sector. You have a Pokemon that controls Aura. How is that not awesome? Well, maybe it's awesome for me because when I was younger, if I were to have superpowers, I wanted to shoot these spears out of my hands. And now that I finally have a Pokemon that embodied what I wanted to be, I just couldn't ignore it. I couldn't deny it that Lucario had to be the coolest thing ever. And then of course, with Lucario, there had to be a younger first form, which we have Riolu. Riolu is downright adorable, but he can still pack a punch just like Lucario, which why it fits so well. And yes, I did watch the Sinnoh region seasons of Pokemon before I stopped watching when Pokemon Black and White came out. And I just can't deny that even when these Pokemon are brought into a show to introduce the younger generation what these Pokemon are like, the show did a very good job with that. The movies did a very good job with that. And I will admit, if I had any crush on a fictional anime character, even though it's kind of weird, I did like Lucario and whoever voiced him. The English dub of Pokemon in general is just very good, and there's no denying that well, not that there's any denying it, but there's just no other Pokemon that could replace Lucario and Riolu for me. Like, I finally found my staple Pokemon that if I were to create a Pokemon team, and I wish that for Pokemon Go they would get all these other region Pokemon already, because I really want a Lucario on my team. I really want to defend a gym with a Lucario in it. And like the Jirachi movie, the Lucario movie also made me cry, because at the end with the big climax and all, I'm just like, why did you let him suffer? Why did you let an innocent Pokemon suffer? Anyways, after that, I just want to thank you for joining me on this list and for watching the entire thing. I did promise to make this a lot shorter, and it is, and I'll try my best to make my getting to know you lists as short as possible, especially when it comes to movies and characters and such like that. So, if you guys liked this video, not only you can tell your friends about it, but you can also subscribe to me down below, if my finger's pointing to the right thing, to watch out for some more content. Basically, what I'm trying to say is. And also, in the description box, you can find more of my social media information if you want to follow me and see what I've been up to. And make sure to check out my other videos, too. I know it's not much because I just restarted this whole channel and everything, but I have some stuff that you guys may or may not like. And if you have suggestions of videos for me to do in the future, you can comment in the comment box below, or you can message me anywhere at all on this account or any of the social media that I've just said. Well, looks like I should get going. I'm Cher, and it's been real. Bye-bye. Oh, and just so you know, I'm siding with Moon, because if you're looking at the Sun picture, they rehashed the Pokemon. The Pokemon's rehashing.